That Thursday evening felt normal in every possible way. My mom and I stopped at a nearby 7-Eleven just to grab a Slurpee. Nothing special, nothing unusual. The bright store lights made the night outside feel far away, like nothing bad could reach us in there. Inside the store, there were only 3 other people. The night shift worker behind the counter, a middle-aged woman buying scratch cards, and a strange man slowly pacing the aisles with his hands shoved deep into the pockets of a filthy hoodie. At first, I didn't even notice the man. I was too busy staring at the colorful Slurpee machine, trying to decide which flavor I wanted. But when I finally looked up, I caught him staring straight at me. He didn't look away. He didn't pretend to be busy. His eyes stayed locked on mine, cold and unblinking. Even when I turned my head, I could still feel his stare crawling over my skin, like it was touching me. I told myself I was just imagining things, but the moment the woman finished paying and the bell above the door chimed as she left, the feeling in the store changed. It wasn't loud or obvious. It was heavy, thick, like the air had suddenly dropped in temperature. My mom walked toward the refrigerator section to grab some water. I followed her, and when I glanced back, I saw that the man was following us too. I stopped near the freezer doors, and that's when I saw his reflection in the glass. He was standing right behind me, way closer than he should have been. He leaned forward and spoke softly, asking my name and calling me sweetheart. That single word made my stomach twist in fear. Before I could say anything, my mom stepped between us, her voice sharp as she told him to back off. The man smirked like he didn't care at all. My mom called out to the employee, clearly shaken. The worker came over and firmly told the man to leave the store. The man glared, muttered something under his breath, then stormed out, slamming the door so hard the windows rattled. My legs wouldn't stop shaking. We paid quickly and followed him out, convinced the danger was over. Outside, the cold night air hit my face. The parking lot was mostly empty, quiet, and dark. I walked close to my mom, gripping my Slurpee so tightly my hand hurt. I remember thinking that nothing bad could happen now. We were together, we were leaving. I truly believed the worst was behind us. That belief shattered in seconds. From behind a black van parked nearby, something moved fast. A hand grabbed my arm with a force that burned. Before I could scream, the man yanked me toward the van, his voice low and angry. His grip didn't feel human. It felt like claws digging into my skin. My mom reacted instantly, grabbing my other arm and pulling with everything she had. For a moment, I was stuck between them, my body stretched in a violent tug-of-war. The man punched her. I heard the sickening sound. Blood spilled. Her glasses flew across the pavement, but she didn't let go, not even for a second. The man lifted me off the ground, dragging me closer to the open van door. I kicked and screamed, knowing my mom couldn't hold on forever. Just when hope felt completely gone, headlights flooded the lot. 2 cars pulled in at the same time. People shouted. The man froze, shoved me away, and jumped into the van, speeding off into the night. I hit the ground hard, scraping my hands as my mom collapsed beside me, still reaching for me, even as she bled. Later, the police told us he'd done this before, but this time, he failed. Not because he was weak, but because my mom fought like someone with nothing to lose. Sometimes, when I wake up shaking at night, I still feel his hand on my arm. Then I remember the other hand that never let go. This happened around 12:40 in the morning. My girlfriend, Bailey, shook me awake, her voice quiet but desperate. She was 8 months pregnant and couldn't sleep because of strong cravings. One hand rested on her stomach as she whispered that she needed chips, a donut, and something spicy from the nearby 7-Eleven. She looked uncomfortable and exhausted. I sighed, but I could tell she really needed it, so I got up and told her I'd go. I threw on a hoodie, slipped on my shoes, and rode my bike through the empty streets. The world felt quiet and unreal, like everything was half asleep. When I reached the 7-Eleven, the bright fluorescent lights felt harsh after the darkness outside. The night shift worker nodded at me as I walked in, and I went straight to the shelves to grab everything Bailey wanted. I paid for the snacks and stepped outside. I decided to smoke before heading home. The usual smoking spot was near the trash bins, but that corner was dark. The light above it had been broken for months. As I leaned against the wall, a strong, rotten smell filled my nose. It was bad, but I ignored it, thinking it was just garbage. As I lifted the lighter, I heard a sound, a soft whimper. At first, I thought it was a cat, but the sound was deeper, sadder. It sounded like a grown man crying. The noise came from deeper in the shadows near the bins. My chest tightened as I slowly turned my head toward the sound. I pulled out my phone and turned on the flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness and landed on a man crouched near the bins. He was rocking back and forth, his face buried in his arms. His clothes were torn and filthy, covered in grime. He looked cold, broken, and completely wrong. When he lifted his head, my entire body froze. His eyes were wide, stretched too far open. The side of his face was torn open, raw and red. Pieces of skin were stuck under his fingernails. His lips and chin were wet with blood. That's when I realized something horrible. He had done this to himself. The man stood up suddenly. He was huge, at least 7 feet tall. His shadow stretched across the ground, swallowing the light. Without breaking eye contact, he raised his trembling hand and dug his fingers into the open wound on his face. Slowly, he pulled a piece of flesh free. I watched in shock as he placed the torn piece of skin into his mouth. He chewed slowly, like this wasn't the first time he'd done it. The rotten smell suddenly made sense. My stomach turned and panic finally took over. I backed away, then ran. I sprinted across the parking lot, but I didn't see the curb. I tripped and crashed to the ground, my chin slamming into the pavement. Pain exploded through my head as warm blood poured down my neck. Behind me, I heard bare feet slapping against the concrete. He was chasing me. I scrambled to my bike, hands shaking so badly I could barely hold the handlebars. I tried to start it, begging it to work. The engine sputtered as I heard his breathing right behind me. Then it started. I took off just as he leaned close and spat on my face, laughing like a child. Even now, I swear I can still feel it. That night, something followed me home, and it never fully left. If you've ever worked late shifts or stayed up too long, you know that strange fog that settles into your head after midnight. That's how I felt when I stopped at a 7-Eleven just to grab an energy drink before heading home. The bright lights inside felt unreal, like I had stepped into a dream where everything looked normal but didn't feel right. I walked to the back fridge, grabbed an energy drink, and shut the glass door. That's when I heard a whisper behind me. It was quiet, shaky, and desperate. A voice begging for help, saying, "Please don't let him see me." My heart jumped as I slowly turned around. Between the snack shelves, I saw her. A girl, maybe 15 years old, crouched low on the floor. Her eyes were wide with fear. Mascara streaked down her cheeks like she had been crying for hours. She told me a man was looking for her and begged me not to let him take her. I told her it would be okay and suggested we go to the counter. She stayed close behind me, gripping my jacket like I was her shield. Every step felt heavy. I could feel her shaking through the fabric as she kept whispering that she was scared and didn't want him to find her. As we reached the front, the bell above the door chimed. The sound made her gasp. She dropped behind me instantly. I turned and saw a man in a dark hoodie step inside, scanning the store with sharp, focused eyes. Something about the way he looked made my stomach tighten. She whispered that he was the one and begged me to call the police. I didn't hesitate. The cashier saw the fear on my face and made the call. The man pleaded, saying he just needed to talk to her, but the fear in her voice felt real, deep, and convincing. The minutes dragged by painfully slow. She paced behind the counter, gripping a napkin holder like a weapon, repeating the same words over and over. "Don't let him get me." When the sirens finally came, relief washed over me so hard my knees almost gave out. But the moment the officers entered, everything flipped. They didn't rush toward the man, they rushed toward her. Before I could react, they grabbed her, pinning her arms as she screamed and fought, her voice turning wild and violent. I stood frozen, unable to understand what I was seeing.
The man stepped forward and quietly said he was her father. He explained she had stabbed someone earlier that night and run. The words hit me like a punch. The fear I felt didn't disappear, it changed. Her screaming turned into sobs as she was dragged outside, still begging to be let go.
After they left, the store felt empty in a way I can't explain. On the counter sat a Slurpee she had been holding, slowly melting into a dark puddle. I keep thinking about her eyes, how terrified she looked, how easy it was to believe her. And now I wonder, if someone begs me for help again, will I know if I'm saving a victim or protecting something dangerous? If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe my channel. See you on next videos. Till then, goodbye.